This is Larry Mitchell back again to talk about swifts. You may have heard me on Shannon's side and in a couple of presentations that I gave. Today we're going to feature on boxes and the types. Before going into that, I just want to remind you again of the importance of trying to save this bird. A remarkable bird, never lands except when it's nesting, either here in Africa, is with us for 3.5 months of the year, from the 1st of May until about the middle of August, and then the rest of the time on its way back to Africa. It's important to distinguish between the way swifts nested in the past. They nested in cliffs originally, and old buildings like castles, etc. But recently they've nested in houses. And when I say recently, the last 100 years, and in cathedrals and that. With the change in building systems and the knockdown of old buildings, they have diminished because of the loss of habitat. But to look at the two aspects of breeding, they're still breeding in old sites such as the castle in Roscommon and in the convent in Longford. And to help them, we're putting up boxes all over the place, because the boxes are, in my view, much more reliable. In the wild, we don't know how big the nest space is, but in boxes we give them ample room, because they have to exercise before they fly, because once they leave the box, they never touch ground or a building or anything for 3 years until the nest. So they have to be fully in strength to fly immediately they leave the nest. The parents don't feed them after that. They hit off gradually going to Africa. The colonies are very important to set up, and I'll explain why. If they're nesting here and there in spots, once they disappear or die off or killed or whatever on their migration, that finishes that. But where there is a colony, they're attracted because they're very sociable birds. So that's why we put up nest boxes, and we have a number done. So I'll give you the numbers at the end when I feature St. Mel's, which is a remarkable colony which we've built up. First of all, in looking at the colony at my own house, situated on the sheltered side of the house, under the gutters, etc. And I have 15 nest sites, and 9 of those have been occupied. And I expect this year, I'm nearly certain that we had 3 to 4 breeding pairs, and we had young ones. We certainly had young ones looking out before they left. And you will see that the boxes on the left, as I look up, are made from marine ply, and that the other two nest sites on the right are made from a product. It's a cement type product. It will last longer than the marine ply, but if the marine ply is situated in a sheltered area, it will last for a long time. Now let me show you the boxes in particular. That's a marine ply box made locally, just large enough. Then I have on my left hand side a box made by the prison service prisoners in Castlereagh, who were very, very accommodating and helped us out in that. That's a different type box, but it's slightly larger than the other one. And then the most we put up because of convenience is the treble here in front of me. That's 3 nests, and that again is done in marine ply. So it is possible, and we have a large number of sites around. We will be going to St. Mel's, because that is going to be one of the major colonies in the whole of the country. But I'd like to, before finishing up on my own position here, they only came to me 4 years ago. I brought them up after putting up the boxes, mainly because of the call. The call is essential, because otherwise they won't know where to come. Because they're attracted to the call and they're very sociable, that's why they came to my house. Within 2 months of putting up, a pair came, and the next year they bred. But overall, we have in Edgeworthstown 15 nest places, of which 4 are occupied. Ballymahan, we have 16 nest sites. Keena, in the O'Farrell family's home, we have 6. Abilara we have 6. In my house here we have 15. The convent has 6, but they have a lot of natural sites going back. VEC in the Battery Road we have 8, and pair occupied this year again. And we have 3 up on the top in halls, beside where there's an existing old nest. St. Mel's has 33, which this is going to be the colony of the Midlands, and we will be visiting that and we will be featuring it. Moyne were very cooperative and very helpful. They have a lot of old sites. They have well over between 20 and 30 swifts altogether, but they have 9 sites from the boxes. Newtown Forbes has 6 and Clondra has 9. So all in all, we have over 130 set up in the last 3 or 4 years, which is quite substantial. I would like to thank all that gave the support. And next year, with the help of God, if I'm around, we're going to try and get boxes up in Drumleash, because I spotted 6 swifts in Drumleash that I didn't know were there at all. So we'll be going next to St. Mel's, which is the colony of the Midlands, and it's only established 4 years. Continuing on from the presentation at my own house, we're now down at probably the finest colony that's going to be in the Midlands, in St. Mel's. There weren't any swifts in this building until 4 years ago. We put up the boxes, and within a year we had a number, and some nested the following year. That's 2 years ago. We now have 33 nest places. That's 11 trebles, made up of both marine ply and the other type, with the particular type of material, the long-term one. But this is the best location, because from a point of view of location, it's facing north, it's sheltered away from the southwest, etc. And on top of that, it has an overhang. As I look back, we see the overhang above the boxes, which means they'll get very heavy rain. And we had a call there initially. As I said, the call isn't necessary now because the colony has been established. And that is the secret, because if you have colonies, they'll come back year after year. Whereas if you have only a pair nesting here and there, if they die off, that ends that nest place. So all in all, this is a remarkable location, and we're going to have the finest colony in the Midlands. So really, we're on the way up, and we have improved. And by adding to the colonies and adding to the nest sites with the calls initially, we're going to improve the situation. Just for your information, we'll go along the nest sites to show you what is involved and to show you the excellent location this is. Get those.
You have to come in.
We'll be getting together. The only thing I reiterate again, that I need support, and I have some very good people like Finian O'Byrne, who does a lot of work with me in Longford, and some very good people in Ballymahan, the Flynns, and right across, without mentioning names and falling by the wayside and forgetting people I should mention. We need people, otherwise the continuation of this project will die out. I'm not going to live forever, as the saying goes, but hopefully we will keep going. And thank you for listening. And if anyone wants to contact me, My number is 087 2579 786, and I'd be glad to talk to them. I do get the odd phone call about them, and I'm very pleased to meet with the people or to certainly guide them in what we need to do. But we need to identify where there are swifts, identify the nest sites, and then progress from there. So thank you very much for your attention, and hopefully we will continue the good progress we're making. And I'll thank all that are involved in Longford, including the convent and St. Mel's, Declan Rowley and Michael Galvin, all the people involved. Thank you very, very much.